Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rah Rah Rabbit. So this month I am celebrating 10 years of being a lucid dreamer, which is quite a big deal for me because sticking with anything for an entire decade is pretty unheard of for me, especially something like lucid dreaming, which does require quite a lot of effort and practice, and so many people give up on it quite quickly. I'm really glad that I stuck with it. Now last year I made a video called 9 Things I've Learned About Lucid Dreaming in 9 Years, where I talked about things I've come to learn about the practice and how my feelings and opinions have shifted in that time. If you want to know what those 9 things are, here they are. And if there's anything on that list that you are intrigued by and want to know more about, then of course you can find the link to that video in the description below. So for 10 years I figured maybe I would do something similar, like 10 things I've learnt about lucid dreaming in 10 years, but I really couldn't think of another 10 points that didn't already cover stuff that I've covered before. So I thought for this I would just talk about my journey with lucid dreaming, how it all started, how it has shaped the last 10 years of my life, things that I've learned in that time, people that I've met, and so on. So we begin in 2010, and honestly I still can't recall what it was that brought lucid dreaming to my attention. I know that I'd been aware of it from several places, but for some reason it just never sparked interest in me. I never felt compelled to actually look more in depth into it and start learning how to do it for myself. But I know that I think it was, well, obviously it was some 10 years ago this month. I just started college, and I really can't remember what it was that brought lucid dreaming back to my awareness, but I remember I bought the book Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming by Stephen LaBerge, which is a book that is often considered the Bible of lucid dreaming by many lucid dreamers. I remember falling in love with it pretty much instantly, and finding it such an interesting topic, and I thought, even if it doesn't prove fruitful and I don't manage to lucid dream, I still really enjoyed the book. It offered great insight into just dreaming in general, and talking about the the science behind lucid dreaming, as well as various spiritual approaches to it, how dreams are formed, and things like that. It was just a very interesting book, and it was really exciting. I recall feeling elated reading it and really wanting to lucid dream. It was the first thing that I'd read about lucid dreaming that had actually made me go, oh yeah, I really want to give this a go. So I started journaling pretty much straight away, and I would track my dream signs, and I would use the categories from the book, which are action, form, inner awareness, and context. These are sort of 4 categories that dream signs often fall into, and I learned pretty quickly that the dream signs for me, the ones that were most prominent, were inner awareness and form. So with inner awareness, it was kind of being aware of feelings and emotions within the dream. My dreams tended to not necessarily be nightmarish, although I don't know, I guess when I remember I let my friend read like the first few pages of my dream journal, and I remember him saying they were kind of disturbing, which for me I didn't think they were, but I don't know, I guess if I'm used to those dreams, maybe I don't see them that way. But yeah, there was always kind of underlying emotions in those dreams, those things that I was feeling. So inner awareness was a big dream sign for me, and form as well. Things in my dreams often change form quite frequently, so that was something that I was able to look out for in later dreams when it came to getting lucid. So I prioritised dialed over wild, mainly because I'd heard that was best for beginners, but also as I kind of practiced more and more, I found that dialed just worked better for me. I have done wild, and it is something that I will occasionally focus on, but I typically find wild to just happen spontaneously for me, whereas dialed, I don't know, they just seem to happen more frequently when I actually put in the effort. I started having lucid moments pretty quickly. I would say maybe around 2 weeks of journaling, I started to have these lucid moments where I would maybe kind of question the dream, but not really get lucid as such. Like the awareness wasn't really there, or maybe I would realize that I was dreaming, but the dream would pretty much be over. It would just fade. I would either wake up or just transition straight into a non-lucid dream. And as well as this, I was in college at the time, and because it takes quite a while to kind of figure out what works for you with lucid dreaming, I guess I just didn't have the mental energy to really do that, as well as college. So there was kind of like a 6-month break, I would say, where I kind of just didn't really journal much or put much focus into lucid dreaming. So I just kind of focused on college instead. And it was probably a good year to 2 years before I started having what I would consider proper lucid dreams, in that I was able to stabilize the dream and prevent it from ending or fading away. I'd have a medium to high level of awareness, a decent degree of dream control, and would last more than 30 seconds. In fact, the first, again, proper lucid dream that I had, it involved Rara, actually, and it was Rara that helped me stabilize the dream. He appeared as a dream character in that dream, and usually what I found when I got lucid was I would just panic, which is quite a standard response for me, whether I'm awake or asleep. I would kind of panic. I would get scared that the dream would end. I just wouldn't know what to do in order to keep that lucidity going, and of course within that panic, it meant the dream would end. And in this particular dream, I could feel that happening. Everything was going grey. I just thought, I'm going to wake up. And Rara was there, and Rara basically just told me to just stop panicking. It's fine. Just, you're safe. It's a safe place. Nothing bad is going to happen. Just relax, kind of thing. And lo and behold, it worked. The grey disappeared, and it was the first time I was kind of able to, again, stabilize the dream, but interact with things without this sort of fear of the dream just collapsing or not doing what I wanted it to do. So for that, Rara, I'd like to thank you. So moving on from there, I guess really the thing that interested me about lucid dreaming, and the thing that kept me interested in lucid dreaming, was that I've always been someone who lives very much in my head. I'm a very isolated person. I struggle a great deal with a lot of things, and for me, the world in my head was far more preferable to the waking world, and I saw lucid dreaming as this chance to basically live in the world that I wanted to live whilst I was asleep. And I suppose I was quite naive in thinking that lucid dreaming is something that would occur every single night, and I would have 100% awareness throughout the dream. I would have 100% dream control throughout the dream, and it would last the entirety of me being asleep, which of course isn't true. And that was kind of what I was striving for. I was striving for having lucid dreams almost every night, and just as this way of wish fulfillment. And I don't know, it was kind of depressing, because I was more interested in the lucid dreaming world than I was the waking world, and I struggled a lot because my lucid dreams were not at the level that I wanted them to be, and the level I wanted them to be is incredibly unrealistic, and I guess I got quite depressed with that. And there was a period of time where I pretty much locked myself away for a good month, and I believe I had about, I can't remember, it was between like 17 and 20 lucid dreams that month. Obviously some of them were quite short-lived lucid dreams, but I kind of got addicted, if it's even possible to call it an addiction, but it just became the sole focus of my life, and that's not good. And I realised that now, and I kind of started realising that as I was doing it, that I really needed to build a better relationship with the waking world, rather than using this dream space as a way to completely escape reality. And it wasn't good. So, as with most people, lucid dreaming was a great deal about wish fulfillment. There were things that I wanted to do that I couldn't do in waking life, such as flying and various other kind of superhero type things. Sex was obviously a big one. Just the usual lucid dreaming stuff that people tend to focus on when they first start getting lucid. And after a couple of years of doing this, I decided that maybe I would look at other things that I could use lucid dreaming for, such as personal growth. At the time, I did frequent the Dream Views forums, and there was various topics there, and people doing like task of the month type things, and it gave me, it allowed me to kind of explore different things within lucid dreaming that I could do. And I'd heard people talk about personal growth and stuff like that, and for me that always just felt a bit I wasn't sure if it was a little bit too on the hippie side. I wasn't quite sure what realistically I could do with that, and I didn't really know what I needed to grow with exactly. I didn't know what I really wanted from that. But I started thinking about some of the other issues in my life, and now again, this is something that I talked about frequently on this channel. You've heard all of this before probably, but if you're new to this channel, I will just quickly explain that I do have a lot of mental health problems. I have all of my life. I've got various things. I guess I'm quite neurodivergent, as it were. And when I was younger, when I was about 11, 12 years old, I started to hear voices, which was obviously quite a distressing time for me. I was incredibly dissociated. I really don't remember much from that time, and everything that I do remember is very, very dreamlike. And it was something that I tried getting help with, and just nobody could really tell me what was going on. I was diagnosed as being depressed, and I was referred to a team that dealt with psychosis, because typically when you're talking about voice hearing, that's usually more often than not associated with psychotic disorders, such as schizophrenia. But as I was with this team, hello, what happened? As I was with this team, it wasn't obvious if it was psychotic or not. And I guess because although I had a slightly strange view of reality, and perhaps some of my beliefs were a little bit odd, in general it didn't seem to really fit enough for it to be seen as a psychotic disorder. And it was something that kind of went on for a very long time. It wasn't like a psychotic episode as such. And I guess because I don't know, maybe I just didn't seem schizophrenic, maybe, or I don't know. But basically, after 4 years of them trying to kind of figure stuff out, I was given a working diagnosis of dissociative identity disorder, which used to be called multiple personality disorder, and is not the same as schizophrenia. And the reason it was a working diagnosis is because DID is still considered a very controversial disorder. It's something that a lot of people don't believe even really exists. But yeah, my symptoms were a lot more, I guess, in line with a dissociative disorder than a psychotic one. And briefly just talking about DID or multiple personalities, the idea behind that is if you kind of suffer a lot of trauma as a kid, and you have a sort of disorganized attachment style to your caregivers, and you are just prone to dissociation as a coping mechanism, all of the aspects of one's sort of personality, your identity, your memories, your feelings, all of these things that aren't integrated as a kid, when you get older and these parts of your personality do integrate, they aren't able to because of various trauma. You've kind of blocked it off, or other things like that, and basically all these aspects of yourself are kind of compartmentalized, and you have kind of separate identities, I guess, and it's different from person to person. Some people have kind of complete amnesia between these parts. They have no idea when these parts are around. They black out during those periods. They don't know what's happened, whilst other parts of their personality is about doing things. And then there are people like me who kind of do have some amnesia, but also find that they are able to communicate with these different alters. For me, I could hear them audibly as well as hear them internally, if that makes sense. And I guess maybe that was where the confusion was when it came to trying to diagnose me, because it can in many ways mirror a psychotic disorder, or some of the symptoms do overlap, but they're not the same. So with that out of the way, I decided with lucid dreaming that maybe I could use it to better understand these experiences. At the time, I think I only had 2 voices or 2 alters, or maybe I had 4, I can't remember. But I really wanted to understand why they were there, or what they represented, or just get more information from them that I couldn't from waking life. And I started seeking them out in lucid dreams. The one that I started with was Scott, because he was the one that I kind of considered my best friend, and I figured out of all of them he would be the less traumatic to explore. And interestingly, when I did try and find him in dreams, the dream would prevent me from finding him. Like in the first dream I had where I tried to find him, he was behind this wall, and when I tried to move this wall out of the way, the words access denied flashed up in red, which to me, I took that to mean I wasn't really ready to understand him yet, or I don't know, but either way, my brain was not allowing this. And it took a while until I was able to actually speak to him and kind of have this conversation about what he represented and why he was there. And I've done tons of videos about that stuff before, so I'm not going to repeat it here. But basically, if you want to know more about it, I will leave a video called Dissociative Identity Disorder and Lucid Dreaming, or Lucid Dreaming and Dissociative Identity Disorder, one of the two. I will leave a link to that in the description as well. So that was, a massive thing, and after that I started talking to other people about this stuff, and I started working with other people as well. I've done a few talks at Charlie Morley's events where I've got to speak about this, and that was, pretty amazing, because I've never done anything like that before, and I didn't think I would be brave enough to do something like that. But having that opportunity and having other people listen, and I guess just having them hear that and getting feedback from that has been, a massive thing for me. It's been quite a big confidence boost as well. And also in 2016, I started working with Team Lucid Dream, which at the time was made up of various people. There was a couple of lucid dreaming YouTubers such as Giz Edwards and James Bray, and we made weekly videos just talking about lucid dreaming stuff, and that went on for maybe about a year. But that was a great experience as well. That taught me a bit about making videos and video editing, and I made some friends through that who I'm still close with today, and that was just a great opportunity that I had. And then I started making videos on this channel. I did have this channel before Team Lucid Dream, but I never really made videos, and I was very shy and quiet and nervous, so it was pretty shit videos, to be fair. But I started making videos again here, just talking mostly about lucid dreaming. I've started talking about other stuff too, but here is where I kind of talk about my lucid dreaming and my mental health and things like that. Another great thing that lucid dreaming has helped me with is my transition. So if DID wasn't like a big enough thing to deal with, I am also transgender. I am female to male trans. And having that dream space to explore my gender, to give myself the body that I wanted, to be able to have sex in the way that I wanted, has also been really beneficial and therapeutic. So, you know, there's no end to what lucid dreaming can do for you. So here we are 10 years later, and honestly, I didn't think I would still be doing lucid dreaming at this point. I thought maybe I would have gotten bored of it or just, you know, given up. And I never thought it would have provided me with the opportunities that it has. I didn't think I would ever meet the people that I have met, and worked with the people that I've worked with. I didn't realise it would provide such a massive insight and therapeutic benefit to my various ailments. I didn't think it would bring me closer to people and allow me to share such personal things about myself with other people and potentially help other people as well. So yeah, I mean, lucid dreaming has become quite a important part of my life. I'm not quite sure where I'll be in the next 10 years with lucid dreaming. You know, I hope to continue to do more work with mental health stuff, you know, to continue my own exploration with that and to continue to share that. So yeah, I mean, that's a decade of dreaming. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you would like to support me on Patreon, you can. There is a link to that in the description below. As well as that, there are all my social media accounts, which is kind of primarily where I do things, and they will be down there as well, so feel free to check those out. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I have been Max, aka the Rabbit, and I'll see you in the next video.